Hello, friends. I'm Spire meteorologist James Van Fleet. We are looking ahead to the weekend and early next week, both in Europe and North America. We will start today in the Mediterranean for this strong storm that's come out of northern Africa. I will say that our day on Friday looks like this will be the most intense timing of the storm. So if you have shipping and supply chain materials coming into the Med or leaving the Med, they will likely have some delays as a result of this storm. Depending on where they're at in the Med, of course, will depend on how much of a delay. But I just want to show you what we're looking at. This low, again, coming out of Africa, is flexing mostly over Italy and the islands in between Africa and Italy. But the rain will continue, but so will some of the wind. And I want to jump over and talk about some of those wind gusts that we're seeing. Again, as of this recording, this is some of the highest intensity that we're seeing in our winds flexing between Malta and also, say, southwest Italy, including Naples and those areas. But as we take you forward in time, you can see while the winds are still there, and still running in amounts that are ranging around anywhere from 15 to upwards of 20 meters per second. The higher winds that were around 25, 30, even low 30s meter per second that we have seen today will not repeat itself, but we will again. These kind of winds, it will have generated some wind swell that'll take a little bit of time to settle down, and the system will still be out there keeping some things churned up. So there could be some areas where ships aren't necessarily having to stop and drop anchor, but are likely slowing down, which will impact timing, or maybe adding more fuel on the back end of this to make up timing. All those decisions, I know a lot of our operations in maritime and maritime weather, these are very important pieces that they're tracking. So that system, again, will remain, but will not be as intense starting later tonight and through the weekend. But it is there and prominent in the days ahead. Now, of course, we gave an update yesterday on that major Arctic blast. I'm almost certain you know by now that's happening in North America. But there also are some winter weather that will come into play with this in the Northeast. So again, business operations, second half of this weekend, primarily Sunday, and the first couple of days of next week, Monday, Tuesday for sure, possibly even Wednesday for some areas. Not only will we have the cold, but this huge storm that's coming across the mid-Atlantic, even the southeastern U.S., really up into the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast, will have some of that cold air influence. But as the first part of this hits the coast of the U.S. on the east side of Carolinas, Florida, Georgia, areas like that, the snow actually will come more predominantly for the Northeast Sunday and early next week. So you can see here's the system through the rest of today and through Saturday. Very messy out there, of course. That could also have its own impacts. But on top of prepping your staff as well as any items that might need winterization or protection and insulation, I expect you that you're already getting on that from the videos we've done early this week. But also you add to the fact that we will see over some of our bigger areas like New York and New Jersey this weekend. This will be, as we get into early Sunday, may even start with a little bit of a rain, sleet, snow mixture right around daybreak. But that will start to change over to all snow through a good portion of the day on Sunday. And this is the big heads up I wanted to give behind the cold, which we've talked about, is that the wintry precipitation on top of the cold could just add more problems, again, in your operations, your fleet, your staffing, your assets. And so just want to make sure that you know the rest of the story that plays out, not just the cold, but you're ready up in the Northeast from Boston down to Atlantic City, the Delmarva Peninsula. Might even be clipping just pieces of DC and Baltimore, but I'm more concerned about the East Coast, from Atlantic City, New York City, up to Providence, Newport, and Boston, Cape Cod, and on up into even the Maine coast. So that snow, although it doesn't last for days and days, it is with us almost all day Sunday. And then any of that has a chance to melt in the afternoon on Monday, with that cold air staying in place till Wednesday, I would be very careful with fleets, your trucks and cars and assets that are on the move, airplanes, all this, for Monday night into Tuesday, and same for Tuesday night into Wednesday. For any of that snow that has melted, but not completely melted, it will refreeze, of course, as slush and, more importantly, ice. So not only do you have the cold that you want to mitigate for and prepare for, the preparation for some heavy snowfall at times on Sunday, but then Monday night and Tuesday night into the following mornings, also want to be prepared for refreezing of any of this. And that, of course, ice is about the worst. We can drive on snow in most cases, but anything icy, especially when we're talking trucks, is just almost certainly going to shut us down in those regions until it can melt and be more easier to drive on and safer to drive on. So that's what I'm tracking for this Friday into your weekend and early next week. I'll see you next week as well for a fresh take on Spire weather and climate. Hope you have a great weekend. And for those of you that are watching in the U.S., hope you have a wonderful MLK Day as well on Monday. Take care.